ROJAY is the way you say it.
I wish that I had
A perfect marriage.
with no problems or mistakes.
A perfect marriage.
Every day is always great.
A perfect marriage.
I wish I had a perfect marriage. What up, kings and queens?
I'm her husband, ROJAY.
And I'm his wife, SHIY.
And right now you're listening to the first ever episode of
A Perfect Marriage,
where we remind you that there's no such thing as a perfect
perfect
marriage.
marriage.
Today's episode is entitled Security.
Mm-hmm.
It was inspired by, what? Yeah, the Security Challenge. And who did it, babe?
Mike Grizzly.
Shout out to Mike
Shout
Grizzly
out.
for such an amazing challenge.
Yes.
So with this challenge, we wrote a song.
Mm-hmm.
And after writing the song, how did it happen? Okay, so I did the challenge initially.
Yep.
And you came home. Tell them the story. You came home from work. Or you want me to tell them, or you going to tell them?
You can tell him.
Okay, so I did the challenge one night while she was at work. She came home from work, and I thought it would be a great idea to have her perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And from that, it inspired us to shoot a video.
Uh-huh.
And from that, it inspired us to build a brand where we use music and the story of our marriage and the evolution of our marriage and the growth, the downfalls, the good and the bad, to share to people all over the world.
Absolutely.
So we're here. And the context or the concept of the podcast will be to elaborate and explain the lyrics and the place we were in at the time that these lyrics were inspired by.
Right.
So today we're going to go line for line and explain these lyrics.
Yeah. All good.
Ooh. All right, so I'm going to start with mine, and then we're going to talk about mine. Then you go to yours, and we're going to talk about yours.
All right, let's do it.
All right, so my first line was, or two lines were, I gave you all my love. I gave you all my trust. Third line, thinking that you had my heart.
Uh-huh.
So let's talk about that for a minute.
All right.
A lot of times people give of themselves thinking that that person understands, has their best interest at heart. So they feel vulnerable enough to give of themselves. But on the flip side, when they don't get the response that they feel they're entitled to, they automatically assume or conclude that that person doesn't appreciate what they're giving. Mm-hmm. So there have been times where in my mind, I'm like, I'm giving you this or I'm showing you this. And in order for me to feel like you appreciate it, you got to respond to me like this, and this, or you don't love me.
Yeah.
But I'm learning that people show love different. What you think?
Yeah, I agree. Like when I was talking to you last night at work,
Mm-hmm.
and I made the statement that most people, like you just said, most people don't really understand that people love differently.
Yeah.
We were raised differently, so it's to be expected for people to think and love differently.
Yeah.
So when it comes to stuff like I gave you my love, I gave you my trust, hoping that, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We're different human beings, so we cannot put that pressure on another person to love the same.
So you're basically saying that you can have my heart even if I don't agree with how you express that you have it.
Absolutely.
I got it.
As long as there's an understanding of oneself, like if you understand me and I understand you and we talk, that's the key, the communication. Yeah. We talk about who we are and where we are and what we believe and what we think.
Yeah.
And where we are here.
Yeah.
Then
because it's kind of like this. Expectation without communication is guaranteed disappointment.
Absolutely.
Like, if you want me to do
Absolutely.
something that you didn't tell me you wanted me to do, and then you get mad because I don't do it, what?
Right.
What?
Right. Right.
So,
Absolutely.
all right, let me go to the
it.
next line. I gave you all my time until I realized that you were tearing me apart.
Ooh.
Now, this line or these set of lines, I think, are important because it has a lot to do with, let me look at it again. Let's talk about time,
Okay.
and let's talk about investment of time. If I invest my time into you, whether we're talking, whether we're out to eat dinner, or whether we're doing music, because we do music, if I'm spending my time researching something for you or finding records that sound similar to you for you to listen to, study, or reference, or if I go out of my way to do anything where I spend my time to contribute to you as a person, if that response, it's all about expecting a response. So I'm disappointed because I spent time doing this for you and you didn't even take advantage of what I spent time to do. And the tearing apart comes from, I'm always frustrated at the end. I give, you don't respond to what I give, so I'm always angry. I'm always frustrated. I'm always feeling like you don't appreciate me. So it feels like I'm being torn down. So like, what's your take on that?
Oh my goodness.
Crazy.
Yes. But facts.
Yeah.
Facts. Gosh.
This is real life, people. We are having a real conversation in front of y'all about stuff that we're never gonna prep for this podcast
Yeah, we did
because we
not.
want the interaction to be genuine so that y'all can really see a non-scripted. Well, where's my phone? So y'all can see a non-scripted conversation
Absolutely.
between a husband and a wife. So yeah, you go ahead. Because I'm sure you felt the same way. Like, I do this for him, I do that for him. Go ahead.
Yeah. I definitely understand. And sheesh.
Woo! He stepped on your toes.
God knows it did. But yeah, that right there is something else. But true.
Yeah.
It's a situation where you, on the other end, it's a situation where you don't really think about those things as being harmful.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like, let me see what example I could use. It's kind of like a mom or someone going into the kitchen that does it daily and cooking and cooks on a daily basis
I see where you're going.
and expecting the family to say thank you and getting frustrated every day.
Yeah. But but on the flip side, I don't mean to cut you off, but on the flip side, the family's just like, oh, mama, that's what she's supposed to do.
She does.
She's supposed to cook.
Right.
So what do I say? Thank you. This your job.
Right.
But it takes energy and effort to prepare a meal.
Absolutely.
So you should be appreciative of every meal that's cooked for you that you didn't cook for yourself.
Absolutely.
Because that person didn't have to do it.
Right.
Regardless if they've made it their business to do it or decided that that's something I'm going to do, it still shouldn't go unappreciated.
Absolutely. Because not to mention, most moms and some moms actually have full-time jobs
Absolutely.
and carry on responsibilities
Right.
that are outrageous and still have the energy to come home, still make
Yeah.
energy, make time to come home and do something of that sort. So a simple sense
Thank you.
of gratitude
Yeah.
goes a long way. So
Yeah.
I got you.
All right. So look, we're gonna speed it up. So go to your lyrics so you can explain to them what was,
Okay.
All right.
All right. So my first
You-
three lyrics.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. My
First
first
three
three
lines, not
lines.
lyrics, Doc.
Yeah, it's
It's
three
all right.
words.
It's all right.
My first three lines are: I gave you my life.
Mm-hmm.
I made the sacrifice, hoping that you would hold me down.
All right.
Okay.
Okay. Take your time. Like they say in church, take your time, baby.
Okay. So I'm gonna give you a brief summary of my story. So I grew up in Florida singing with my mom and sister. I met my husband through that. We were really, really, really young. But he introduced me to a side of life in music that I didn't even think about. He really introduced me to my life and who I am. So I dropped everything. I gave up everything. I sacrificed everything I knew, everything I had, everything.
yeah.
I dropped it all.
Yeah.
Y'all, I left my car in Florida, okay?
Right.
But I dropped it all literally and came here with an expectation that life was just gonna be great, be wonderful, and start off immediately.
Well,
Wonderful. I mean, that's not to say that life wasn't good, because life was good.
yeah.
Life was wonderful. Like, we had fun.
Yeah.
We had a lot of fun, great times. However, the expectation, expectation that I had of just doing music every day and, just growing in certain areas, that initially did not happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
But on to the next
Yeah.
3 lines.
Dang, that's the truth though.
It is.
And by the way, before she goes to the next line, she started to resent me based on that expectation that she never communicated with me about.
Never communicated, you guys.
It goes back to what we said. There was tension between us that I didn't understand, and I didn't know till later that it was because she was expecting a certain thing that she didn't communicate. And when I didn't give it to her, she was hot.
Y'all.
She was hot.
Y'all.
She was hot. So again, that expectation without communication is guaranteed disappointment, people. But go ahead.
It's dangerous.
Yes.
It's very, very dangerous. And what I mean by that is dangerous internally. And it's dangerous to whoever you're expecting it from. Because now they're struggling trying to figure out what's going on with you, and you just not saying anything. And then you're struggling because emotionally you're being torn apart.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's your fault.
Yep. That's
Why?
facts.
Why is it your fault? It's your fault because, first of all, you didn't say anything.
Yeah.
First of all, you're expecting a human to make you happy in an area
Yeah. Talk about
that
it.
they should not have to make you happy in.
Yeah.
But overall, you have to take responsibility for you and your life. If you want a certain thing, speak that thing. If you want a certain life, live that type of life.
And
Go
if there's
for it.
and if there's a person who is sharing that life with you, they need to know what your expectations are.
Absolutely.
Because if we're doing life together and there's a certain thing that I want out of life that I haven't communicated, it's impossible for her to help me achieve it.
Absolutely.
Or it's impossible for her to help me make whatever that expectation is become reality for us. But let's speed it up. Go to the next line.
So the next 3 lines are, but now I see you took advantage of me. Thinking that I would stick around. Yeah. Yeah, that's...
That's heavy.
So would you like to explain that one there? Okay.
I can.
All right.
So it went like this. On top of her coming with that expectation, I didn't know what a healthy relationship was. So the way I treated the situation was pretty bad, people. I ain't even going. It's 10. My neck itching. Look at that. My neck itching. But yeah, I really did. I took advantage of her, but I didn't know I was. I was just living my life based on what I knew. And I later found out that I was misusing her. Like, I was so caught up in church and gigs and everything. Girls.
Go ahead.
I was just into everything. I just wanted to be with the homies. I wanted to be playing gigs. I wanted to be traveling. I wanted to be talking to girls. That's all I wanted to do. And it's like, I have this woman here who literally left everything. And I'm just living my life like, hey man, she loved me. She holding me down, yada, yada, yada. But I wasn't offering her any value. So I took advantage of her sacrifice at the end of the day. That's just facts.
Yeah.
And now I'm looking at it like, yo, man, I mistreated you. For real. Like, I took advantage of what you sacrificed. And I was just doing my thing. And now that I'm playing it back in my head, man, it was definitely me taking advantage of you. And I apologize. For real. I do, because I was at home. I was with my family. I was with my friends. I had the same life. And I added you to my life. But I didn't change. I kept living as if you weren't there.
Mm-hmm.
That's heavy, man.
Yeah, it is.
In any relationship, it is important to understand that once you get married, things have to shift. There has to be sacrifices made that accommodates the decision to be married. It's no longer about you. Everything is we.
Yeah.
Everything is we. And so those things brought us to the conclusion of the chorus. I'm building a wall.
I'm building a wall.
So what we started to do was, okay, then you don't get it? Cool. I ain't gonna worry about it no more.
Mm-hmm. Literally.
Cool. All right. That's what we doing? So then there was discord and there was a wedge that we built where every day we woke up, the environment was tense.
Resentment.
It was a whole lot of resentment, a whole lot of anger. And because in our minds, she ain't gonna understand. He don't care. We ain't talk about it. So there was literally like this barrier in between us where we were just existing to take care of Jalea.
Literally.
We were coexisting in the same space to take care of Jalea.
Yeah.
That was it.
Wow.
Because we like, at this point, man, we've forsaken our families. We out on our own. We don't really want to be rocking with each other, but we got Jalea. Mm-hmm. So let's at least do it for Jalea. And that wasn't enough.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Crazy. So now we're at the point where day by day, brick by brick, we've been tearing the wall down.
Yeah. Yeah.
Brick by brick. Through communication and through transparency and through gratitude, we're just tearing it down. What you want to say?
Y'all, that's pretty heavy, ain't it? It's pretty crazy, right?
Yeah. We're tearing it down.
But I mean, it is what it is, and that's why we're saying like there is no such thing as a perfect marriage.
No such thing.
None whatsoever. I bet none of y'all knew that, right?
Right. Because movies and fairy tales tell you different.
Absolutely.
But the reality of the situation is There's no such thing.
Right. And now we're inviting you all into our life.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
you guys didn't know that.
Right.
Yeah.
Most people don't know.
Right.
But we telling it. So that concludes this episode of A Perfect Marriage.
Uh-huh.
So we want to tell them where to follow us at so they can, you know.
Yep.
So tell them.
I was gonna let you.
I got
do
you.
that. Okay.
So I'll feed it to you. Facebook. Tell them tell them what the page called.
Okay. Well, you can follow us Facebook at ROJAY X SHY.
Say it slow.
ROJAY
Space. The letter X. Space. Shy. There you go.
All right. Now you
And
know where to
then
go.
You can follow us on Instagram. The same thing at ROJAY X SHY, no spaces. On SoundCloud, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We don't know how often we're going to be doing this, but we're going to be doing this as much as our time will allow.
Us to. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, good people.
So until next time, remember, there's no such thing as a
perfect
perfect marriage.